So here we are, a new Dungeons and Dragons movie after the disaster of the first one.
Release him.
Does history repeat itself for this beloved tabletop RPG? No, not this time. Dungeons and Dragons Honour Among Thieves is honestly a good movie that has a chuckle now and then with its jokes.
I think they're starting to get suspicious.
The story begins in prison as the main character, Edgin Davis, recounts his story with Holger Kilgore to the prison's Absolution Council for a pardon on his sentence. He, however, keeps stalling, waiting for the new warden.
So what's latest on Jonathan? Is he close by? Because I can wait.
Expected to arrive at any moment, as Edgin thinks they will be more receptive to it.
Hard to relive this without Jonathan here.
Edgin was a harper, you see, a spy who worked against evil and not for military gain. However, this line of work creates enemies who tracked him down to where he lives, killed his wife, but missed his young daughter, who his wife managed to hide in time. After the tragedy, he forsakes his vow as a harper to look after his child. However, he is not a very good father. During this time, he meets Holger, who helps him look after the child, taking pity on her after seeing how useless Edgin is. But neither having a job, they turn to a life of thievery. As their group becomes more successful, they increase their numbers with the mage Simon and the conman Forge. Even his now older daughter joins in.
But everything changed when we met the wizard, Sophina.
Informs them of the riches that the Harpers have taken, and they even have an artifact that can bring back the love of his life, his dead wife. Edgin reluctantly agrees, leaving his daughter behind for this job. It all goes wrong when he picks up the artifact, and he and Holger are captured by the time-stop magic that they use to escape. That's how it goes by the tale he tells. By this time, the warden Edgin was waiting for has arrived. Edgin goes straight towards him and pushes him out of a window, as his plan was always to escape, using the warden, who just so happened to be a birdman, who he and Holger can hang on to as they fall out the window to escape.
He's still breathing!
I told you to get us out!
They make their way home, however, are unable to find Edgin's daughter and come up with a plan to search for their old comrades who escaped, as they may be looking after her. While in the bar, Edgin finds a flyer. Forge has become the Lord of Neverwinter. This may be the lead they were looking for. At Neverwinter, Edgin finds his daughter with Forge, but while talking together, find out that he has been lying to his daughter, turning her against him so that he can keep her for himself.
Can't blame the poor girl for distrusting you. After all, you have been lying since you set foot in the room, haven't you?
As he has grown rather attached to her.
Tablet? I don't think I will be returning it. Or your daughter, for that matter.
Edgin, not happy about this, tries to take his daughter back, but are caught
You remember Sophina?
once again with her magic. Forge decides to send them back to prison and gain their bounty, and to get them out the way for the important event about to come up.
Sophina.
Has other ideas though, telling the guards to kill them instead. However, Holger breaks her binds and defeats the guards, allowing them both to escape. Edgin is now on a quest with Holger to save their daughter, to screw over Forge in the process. They must bring back their old friend Simon and make new friends along the way for him to succeed in pulling off this daring heist to get his daughter back and the artifact to resurrect his wife. Let's start with the story. It's centered around Edgin, his quest to save his daughter and gain redemption for the mistakes he has made. I thought the story did its job competently, following Edgin's group of misfits and getting that MacGuffin needed for the heist. I did enjoy it more when it did not work out as planned, with Edgin having to make solutions on the fly, almost like a bad rule in D&D, and then having to think of ways to make the situation work. That being the case at times in both the heist part of the story and with the Red Wizards, who have been setting their own plans up in the background. The story works in the characters and themes well at times, those being friendship, loyalty, self-sacrifice, and overcoming your own personal flaws. It helps the movie a lot that Edgin, the main character, is one of the best characters in the movie, and the other standout characters being Holger, Forge in the main cast, and Zenk the Paladin in the support role. Edgin's character is a quick-witted ideas man
What is it exactly that you bring to this?
Me? I'm a planner.
You've already made the plan, so what value do you have now?
If the plan fails, the existing plan, I make a new plan.
So you make plans that fail.
No.
He also plays the lute.
Holga, not relevant. Trust me, I'm indispensable.
Who leads the party rather than a warrior like Holger. He was well played by Chris Pine, who brings the character to life, and his arc over the movie is done well in my opinion. Egan's best friend Holger, on the other hand, is a barbarian, the physical fighter of the group, who may come across as a rough and ready warrior of few words, but has a soft side, also a fondness for very small men. Holger is someone willing to stand by the people she calls friends through thick and thin, even putting her life on the line.
Don't mock me.
Hugh Grant plays up the common forge well, stealing every scene he is in with his over-the-top swagger but ruthless greed, willing to do anything to get the prize, no matter the cost.
I'm prepared to do terrible things to get what I want. Even to those I care about most.
The only other character I liked was the Paladin Zenk, the overpowered, seemingly perfect NPC who comes to save the day and set the player's party in the right direction.
Can't you utilize them for us? Because you're much better at fighting and strategy.
Pretty much everything.
His character is played very much the straight man in the comedy of this movie, and I liked every scene he was in.
In other words, Forge is a real son of a bitch.
So you blame his mother for his corruption?
But unfortunately, the druid was forgettable, mainly being a convenient muscle and shapeshifter used when the situation needed her. I feel like more interactions and situations were needed to bring her character out. However, she does get some entertaining action scenes, an especially good one being her escape from the Red Wizard.
So she did become a deer.
Only at the very end.
As for the mage Simon, with his almost crippling lack of self-confidence, just for me, done a bit too much.
You said I made you feel sad. Not from anything I did, just from who I was.
It was not terrible, and he is not a bad character, though I did like the scenes where he uses his magic, and Simon also gets some really good lines of dialogue throughout the movie.
How everyone thinks that you can solve any problem with magic. There are limits. This isn't some bedtime story. This is the real world.
Luckily, Simon gets a character development to turn it around in the end and become a much better person and character for it. As for the main villain, she was done well, posing a suitable danger to the characters, being a competent antagonist, not waiting for the heroes to defeat her, and having a goal of her own she was trying to enact in the background. It was also nice to see that she was unapologetically evil. No misunderstood background, no bad childhood, tragic past, or any of that, just a straight baddie.
You will forever suffer.
The magic used by this Red Wizard and Simon was well done throughout the movie, used in inventive ways and to good effect, like the section with the anti-gravity magic and the part with the portal staff.
It's a hither-thither staff. Hither. Thither.
That works only by line of sight, so you can't just portal everywhere and fix every situation with a portal. It being used in an interesting way during their plan. The monsters that were used in this movie, like the dragons, are used sparingly but to good effect when on screen. It feels like a real, living world with the monsters being a normal part of it, not just there for the spectacle of an action scene. As this movie is not about going on a grand adventure, slaying monsters, the characters even go out their way to try not killing anyone, being thieves, not killers.
We don't hurt anyone.
The film's visuals are done well. Between the production design and the CGI monsters, when compared to many modern CGI messes, the CGI being used far more sparingly, with more practical effects and sets being used when they can. The action scenes involving these monsters and characters are well done throughout, especially like the final battle, the escape from the dragon, and the shapeshifter escape from earlier. Once again, some of the best parts of these action set pieces is when Egan and the others' plan falls apart and they have to improvise. I do have to say for part of these action scenes though, is that Forge really needed to get different guards, as the normal guards are pretty useless in a fight. I can only think they must have been cheap, knowing Forge. Anyway, not a bad set piece or action scene for me. Another large part of this movie is the comedy aspect, which is used to good effect throughout the whole movie, never used badly like Marvel in recent times. While it's true not all the jokes hit for me, I did laugh and chuckle along, and never felt like they were trying too hard to be funny at the expense of the more serious moments and the story.
I find irony is a blade that cuts he who wields it most especially.
Yeah? Is that what you find, Zink?
Overall, it was an enjoyable film set in the forgotten realms of D&D that people should give a try, be it if you're a fan of D&D or not, with its entertaining story and cast of characters that take you on a light-hearted adventure. I did not feel that I had to know D&D to enjoy this film, as it's a standalone story, which is always positive to bringing in new people to enjoy its setting, while also putting in Easter eggs here and there that reward existing fans. If I was to give this a score, it's about a 7 for me. A good movie that's hopefully a start of many more like this. I hope you enjoyed the video. See you in the next one.
Should the way become too dim, you may take my hand, and I will lead you.